Okay. Don't know what's going on here, but we have darkness. Not quite sure why we have darkness. Camera A, camera B. Trying to switch over here. Oh, there we are. Okay. So we are back. So what I want to do for you is I want to play this video by Alex Hormozy. And if you know anything about me, you know that I am a huge Alex Hormozy fan. And here we go. Let's go ahead and let's play this video for you. Let me zoom this out a little bit so you can see it. How do we get this out of here? I don't want to lock this. How do I do this? Well, this is pretty crazy. I don't know. This is something new that's been happening, and I don't know why it is. But you know what? We're just going to play it. All right. So, sorry, you caught me getting a sandwich here. So that is Hormozy. Oh, and of course, now there's another video going. So let me get rid of that. Hang on a second. All right. So here's the deal with live streaming. I didn't want this to just be listen to Alex Hormozy. I wanted to have some points too. So I created this little graphic, and I'm going to move over to the side here so you can see it. And we're just going to go through these point by point, if that's all right with you. Okay? This is point by point. Now, the first thing that Alex talked about here was real-time connection. You connect with your audience in real time much better than you do on content. Now, they may see you on content, but if they see you on content and they like you, they're probably going to want to see more of you. Well, what is a better way for them to see more of you than for them to interact with you in real time? Right? You connect with your audience in the moment. It feels personal. It's human. When I see Alex Hormozy go live, and by the way, my first year on school, when I first launched my school community, my live paid community, and it wasn't paid at the time, but when I first launched my community, it was only 2 months after Alex Hormozy had announced that he had bought 50% equity in school. And already knowing about Alex, that really excited me, number one. Number two is that I got to witness for the first year that he owned 50% of school, I got to take part in what we called Mosey Mondays. And Mosey Mondays were simply people pre-submitted questions to Alex, and then he picked out a handful of questions that he could then answer live during a Zoom session. And this Zoom session was only for people that had school communities and were part of what they called at the time the school games community. So it was very exclusive. I think there was maybe literally 150 people on these Zooms. And so we could comment during the lives. Alex would see them. He would interact with those. A couple of times I submitted questions and Alex actually answered my question. And the power of what he was able to do was the fact that he could answer your question, and he could theoretically solve the issue that you were having in 30 seconds to a minute. He's that good, right? And so what it did is it just further solidified how much you believe in him, and by proxy, how much you believe in what he's doing, and i.e. school, right? So it cranked up the level of commitment, the level of raving fandom of almost everybody on school when they got to hang out virtually with Alex every Monday. And it came from his small, dark, beat up, ratty old office there at acquisition.com at the time. But it was a real connection. And there is nothing like being on a live, having him read your question and say your name. I fanboyed out on that a couple of times because it was just so cool to hear him say my name. And I know that you might be like, God, that's kind of weird that you would get, but I did. I got all geeked out over that. So that's real-time connection with a human being, right? Number two is live interaction. When you get questions and comments, by the way, you can ask questions in here if you're in here, but if you get questions And you, in real time, you can answer those questions and you can acknowledge those questions. Number one, you're telling people that you care, right? You're showing them that they are more than just a viewer or a number. You're actually live interacting with them. And again, that builds connection. Your content doesn't do that. Your email list doesn't do that. But live interaction between two people on a live stream, that is a whole nother level of connection. So you get questions, comments, feedback in real time, and that creates a two-way conversation. What it also tells you is that you can find out what people are interested in. You can find out the real problems that they're having because you can ask them in a live stream, what problems are you having? Right? There's somebody on this live who is part of my community. And the reason I wanted to do this live on YouTube rather than live in my community was I want to reach other people. And the best way to reach other people is to open up your conversations with them. And when you have this type of content, and because it's live, it's not scripted, and you're answering people's questions in real time, it creates a scarcity and sometimes an urgency, but it certainly creates a scarcity that if they want their question answered, they have to be live. And so it encourages people to tune in to the next live, right? So it does create, live content creates a fear of missing out. People show up because they know it's happening right now and they have the opportunity to interact with you and communicate with you right now. And this is where recorded content is nice, okay? But it's not the same as somebody knowing specifically when they can show up and they can find out, hey, this person's just a real person like me. And they like teaching what they teach. All right. So, number 4, you get more engagement. When people know that their questions are being answered in real time and you acknowledge them by calling out their name, like my friend Jaeger here. My friend Jaeger, who originally he said, I can't find it. This is taking me to your YouTube. And I said, that's exactly right. I'm doing this on YouTube because this is a daily thing for me. Now, I started with an hour. It was too long, right? But I started with an hour and now I'm down to like this half-hour mark. And we had a couple of missteps, so we're only about halfway through here. But when they know it's happening now, it does create scarcity because they realize if they're not going to necessarily be answering questions live or demonstrating things live, then it's going to be tougher for me to get the exact answer and the customized answer that I'm looking for. Okay? So it builds trust and authority. There is nothing like non-scripted interaction between two people, them asking a question, you providing an answer, an in-depth answer, an answer that shows you know what you're talking about. Because the big problem with a lot of people doing things online these days is they are selling somebody else's information and they don't have any trust. People don't trust them, and they also don't have any authority because they've never done the thing themselves. The reason, and I don't think I'm necessarily great live, but one of the reasons that I have been able to build a community, the very first community I built to 750 people, and I did it primarily through live streams. I was going live every single day, And those lives were the way that I built my community. Why? Because I interacted with people. They felt like they knew me. When I called out their name, when I asked them their question, or when they said something and then I reacted to what they were saying, it builds trust and authority. People begin to think they know you. You have a different level of understanding of that person. So it builds trust and authority. And I don't know how this works with YouTube necessarily because I'm new to YouTube live streaming. But I do know from other platforms, when you go live, because you are providing the platform more content and a different type and more original content, you are rewarding the algorithm. And so the algorithm will reward you back. Platforms prioritize live content, so you get more reach on the videos that you do make. Right? And if you can do that consistently and show the platform that you're going to be here, because look, if you think about it, these platforms, all social media, and especially YouTube, they're kind of like crowd-funded content platforms because they rely on you or me to create content for them in any given number of subjects. They rely on that. And if they can't get that, then they don't really have any value to the marketplace. But the fact that we're providing the content for them, I mean, yes, YouTube does make some videos here and there, but you know what? What is the backbone of the platform is just your and my content. So you get better algorithm reach. You get rewarded for providing a consistent inventory to the platform. Number 7, when you're live, when it's not scripted, you have to adapt and improve in real time. And what that means is that as you read the room and you adjust your message, you get better. You get more clear. And when the clearer you are, the more professional you look. The more professional you look, the more trust and authority you build. So it works its way right back to it, right? So you adapt in real time. And this makes your audience care because you have honed your skills. You have dialed in what you want to say to people. You've also dialed in what you believe in and what you don't believe in. And that's very important too, because that is a unique perspective that you're providing in the marketplace. I said this in my community the other day, and it was one of my favorite, as I began to go into business and specifically online business, one of my favorite things, one of my favorite sayings, and how I believed that I knew what I was doing and I felt what I was doing was a good thing. That was the opposite of courage is not cowardice, it's conformity. Live, unless you just blatantly are copying other people's lives, live allows you to be yourself. Live also strips away the veneer if you're not yourself and you're a curated version of yourself. Live will strip that away. Live will shed that lie in a heartbeat. Where you have to think on your feet. You have to talk. Like, for example, if I don't get a lot of comments or I don't have a lot of viewers, I better have something to say. Or it's just going to be me staring at the screen waiting for viewers. But I don't have to do that because I've done this. And here's another thing, and this isn't on my list of the advantages of Livestream, but it truly is. Livestream is a place where you get your reps in. Because if you go every day, just for a little bit, half hour every day, if you go every day, you'll get better. Right? People are not born being great on live. People are not born being great on recorded video. But the one thing that live does better than anything is you get better quicker because you have more shots at it. And you also learn to adapt. And there are things that I have said in lives that later became pieces of content because I was thinking on my feet. And so when you're adapting and you're improving in real time like that, your live content actually becomes your better performing. And then the last thing that live does for you is it creates a whole new source of content. Because what Alex didn't say in that video, but what I've heard him say in other places, and if you're just joining us, I was talking about Alex Hormozi, who is one of the most prolific content creators on the planet. And I showed a video earlier that he made about 2 months ago. And he made it at the start of one of his YouTube lives. Because I don't know about you, but if something's working or if somebody much bigger and more successful than you is doing it, I'm not saying you copy them, but you copy what they're doing. And so Alex said 2 months ago that a larger portion of his content strategy from here on out is live stream. And it's for all the reasons that I just mentioned. But the last and most compelling reason, because Alex is big on leverage. And leverage is the thing that you can do that provides the most bang for your buck. And if you're kind of getting off on that, you want to hear me talk instead of staring at the screen. I don't know. Am I staring at the screen? I don't know. But I got my little thing up here. So what live does is you do something once. Have you ever heard the expression measure once, cut twice? Or have you ever heard the expression measure twice, cut once? Right? And so but this is the opposite, because this is measure once, cut many times. Because what you're doing is you're creating a live experience for people. Oh, no, I mentioned it. Yeah. Right. Yeah. People don't want to see you just talk at the screen. Okay. Now I understand what you're saying, Lion. Sorry about that, man. People don't just want to see you stare at a screen and read a script. They want to know that you know what you're talking about. Because anybody, once they get proficient at reading a script, anybody can come off as knowledgeable and trustworthy. But unless you really know your subject and you can ad lib and you can wing it, then you're not going to. Right? You'll be found out eventually. So what live does is it does give you that authority, but the thing that it really does is it gives you a half hour of stuff that you can comb through and find the little bits. Right? You can even find smaller long form bits of content in a live stream. So if I really wanted to dial this in, I could go through to my Claude code and I could say, hey, evaluate this live video, and I could give it the link. And I could say, evaluate this live video, find one of the most compelling bits of 4 minutes where I'm the most coherent, I am the most on point, I am making my points the most clearly, and create that or chunk that down. And you can do that. And the reason I say long form is while short form is good, it doesn't have the impact that long form does. You can build a lot more trust in a 4-minute video from a live than you can in somebody probably watching 20 of your shorts. Because again, it's easy to fake it in shorts. It's easy to pretend that you know something that you don't. But when you're live in a situation and you're not reading off a script, then this is the way that you can get that content to keep working for you. You create leverage because you record once, you cut it several times, and you have several pieces of equipment. So that one live stream that you did for 30 minutes, like I've already done here, that one live stream can become a whole month of long form content if you just do one video a week. And if you do one video a week and maybe you go live for 30 minutes and you do that consistently, I promise you, like Alex says, you will benefit because nobody ever hurt their brand by telling more people about their stuff. And live's the way to do that because live and YouTube and the platforms, they'll put you in front of people that you might not have never met. You might not have ever met any other way. All right. So if this has been helpful to you, and this has maybe made you rethink how you create content and what type of content you're creating, I'm going to encourage you to go live because, look, if it's good enough for Alex Hormozy, I don't know about you. I know for me and Lion, I think I speak for both of us, it's good enough for us. And Lion's already known this because Lion's been live streaming on his YouTube for a long time. But it is the way that you hone your skills. And it's not, I was born to do this, or I'm better at this than you. I've just been doing it longer than you. That's it. That is all it is. And now, the reason I go live is so I can tell you that this is better than selling digital products and relying on the platform. So what I believe is that a membership program, a low ticket membership program, can be one of the most effective ways to make an impact for people. Because with a low ticket, lots of people can afford it. With a low ticket, lots of people can make changes in their life depending on what depending on what you are teaching them. And so I want to share something with you real quick before I get out of here. Over the weekend, actually on Friday, I believe, I was playing with this thing. On my live, right? And you're going to see this here. So this is something that I created over the weekend. And let me get myself in here. And hopefully you can see this. Nope, you can't see it yet because I haven't brought it up. There you go. So we're going to take out this and we're going to bring up this. All right. So something that I created over the weekend is called, because this is the platform that I use. All right. And it's called the School Offer Coach. And this is what it looks like. Where is it here? Why is it not going? All right. Why is it not? Oh, there it is. That's what I want. All right. This is the School Offer Coach. I created this over the weekend. And what it does is it guides creators to specific paid school topics. And if you don't know what school is, let me share that with you. So School is a platform Oh, where is it? This is crazy. I can never find what I'm looking for here. All right. So this is School. And if you want to join mine, I have a 7-day free trial, right? All you have to do is you just go over here and I am going to show you what it looks like. And there's a link right here in my YouTube for it, right? But you just click on that start free trial. You'll have 7 days. And in those 7 days, I'll help you build something like this. And if you use my link to get started, you and I will have a 45-minute one-on-one call where we're just going to cover all of the stuff that makes a good school group. And this is my second one. My first one, I got to 750 members, and then I realized it wasn't who I wanted it to be for, so I shut it down. But this is what it looks like. This is what it is. And this is what I have for you. So you can check that out if you want to. I appreciate you spending some time with me here live. I went a little bit long today, but I just found it really exciting when Hormozi said this, and he said that live stream is the future, because live is where I am the most comfortable. Even if my technology is screwing up, live is where I'm like, I am in my element, man. I can answer questions. I can show that I know what I'm talking about. And I can, from time to time, promote what I have to offer people, right? So, and by the way, that is a customized GPT that I built that you can only get inside of my school community. And you can test not only the community out, but you can even test that GPT out for 7 days if you want to. You just have to click on the thing, start your free trial. If you don't have a school account, it's just like getting a Gmail account. It's no big deal. You give school your name, your email, and a password, and then you go on there. You plop in your credit card, and then if at the end of 7 days, even if you forget at the end of 7 days, it's $5 a month. So we're not breaking the bank here, because I want to open this up to as many 40 to 60 year old creators or 40 plus creators as I possibly can, because I believe that you guys that are creating this amazing content, and then you're looking up and you're like, that's all I made for the month. And look, you don't want to start a community necessarily, but you want recurring revenue. And this is the ticket to recurring revenue, is a low ticket or a high ticket. It depends on what you're teaching or what proposition you're providing to people, but a recurring revenue membership community, I believe, going forward, is the simplest, and it is the most effective, and it is the easiest thing to tweak as you go along. And I just think it's an amazing thing. And look, for me personally, school is the only one that I would consider. Facebook groups are dead. All these other platforms are more expensive. They charge higher fees, and they're more complicated to use. School makes it super simple. So if you want to start your school, there's a link in my bio for that. If you want to join my community and test it out for 7 days, there's a link in my bio for that. And we'll see you tomorrow, because this is a daily thing. And come back tomorrow and I'll be happy to answer any questions.